Hello ladies and gentlemen, as you all saw in the announcement of this video, my topic will be Isa is the son of Allah in the Quran. Why I made this video? Since we are all the time hearing that God has no son, as they assert that this Allah is the creator, I will prove to them from the verses in the Quran that Isa is the son of Allah. We all as Christians know that the Lord Jesus is the Son of God, but his filiation to God is totally different than the way Allah made Isa his son in the Quran. So let us start now to read the verses to prove to Muslims that Allah has a son and his name is Isa. We read in the verse number 4 from Surah Az-Zumar the following. Had it been Allah's will to have offspring, he could have chosen whatever he willed of his creation. Glory be to him, he is Allah the One, the Supreme. The question is, did Allah choose someone of his creation? We will read the answer in the next verses. We read in the verse number 42 from Surah Al-Imran the following. And remember, when the angels said, O Mary, surely Allah has selected you, purified you, and chosen you over all women of the world. Now we see here that Allah has chosen Mary. And in the previous verse he said, if his will is to have an offspring, he gonna choose someone of his creation. And Mary is one of his creation. Let us now read and see what Allah did with Mary after choosing her. We read in Surah Al-Tahrim, the verse number 12, the following. Allah has also set forth the parable of Mary, the daughter of Imran, who guarded her chastity and into whom we breathed of our spirit, and who testified to the words of her Lord and his books. She was among the obedient. I have to make here a stop. As you all see, I was underlining some words in the verse because the Muslim translator was translating these words from the original script wrongly. He translated them wrongly on purpose because the Arabic script includes inappropriate words which cannot be from the real God, the Creator. Chastity in the Arabic script is vulva. Breathed in the Arabic script is blow. Into whom in the Arabic script blew in the vulva. So why you are ashamed, you Muslim translators, to translate correctly? We will read now the result of Allah's blowing in the vulva of Mary. We read in the verse number 91 from Surah Al-Anbiya the following. And also recall the woman who guarded her chastity. We breathed into her of our spirit and made her and her son a sign to the whole world. So the result of his blowing in her vulva is her son Isa. Here the translator made the same wrong translation because in the Arabic script there is no her chastity, there is her vulva, and we breathed, it's not we breathed, we blew. After reading these verses, the Muslims interpreters want to come out from this impasse and say that the spirit of Allah is the angel Jibril, and they don't know that by saying this they're gonna put themselves in another impasse which we are going to read in the next verses. But can you imagine that Allah, whom they assert that he is the creator, his spirit is an angel? Where are your brains, Muslims? We will read now the discussion between the angel and Mary, ignoring that some verses in the Quran say angels and some verses say angel. We read in Surah Al-Imran, the verse number 47, the following. She said, My Lord, how will I have a child when no man has touched me? The angel said, Such is Allah. He creates what he wills. When he decrees a matter, he only says to it, Be, and it is. Let us move now to one of the interpretations of their interpreter and read if it is really like this. When he decrees a matter, he only says to it be, and it is. We read the interpretation of this verse from one of their biggest scholar, Qurtubi. He says, Allah Almighty made the two waters together in Mary, some of it in her womb and some of it in her crucifixion. So Gabriel blew into it, it means vulva, to arouse her lust, because the woman don't get pregnant if her lust is not aroused. By Gabriel's blowing, the water that was in her crucifixion fell in her womb. So the two waters mixed and she became pregnant. After reading the interpretation of Qurtubi for this verse, I'd like to ask something. Is this what Allah is doing with Mary, matching to the verse number 47 in Surah Al-Imran, which we read before? When he decrees matter, he only says to it be and it is? Or it is a sexual process Allah is making with Mary through his angel by blowing in her vulva to arouse her lust? Before I move to the next verse, I'd like to mention two mistakes Qurtubi fell in. The first mistake is it's not a condition that the lust of the woman has to be aroused to get pregnant. The second mistake is that the woman has no water at all, and especially in her crucifixion. The water by the woman come from the womb itself. It excrete this water because of the friction happened through the sexual intercourse between a man and woman. We read in the verses 16, 17, and 19 from Surah Maryam the following: and mention in the book the story of Mary when she withdrew from her family to a place towards the east, and drew a curtain screening herself from people whereupon we sent to her our spirit, and he appeared to her as a well-shaped man. He said, I am only the messenger of your Lord to give you a pure boy. As you can see, I was underlining some words here because these underlined words are not existing in the Arabic script, and the translator was adding them in the English version. As you can see from reading this verse, that the Spirit of Allah, which is the angel Jibreel, has been transformed to a well-shaped man. So let us now read an interpretation from one of their interpreters and see what he said about this verse. We read the interpretation of this verse from one of their interpreters, Al-Baydawi, in his book Anwar al-Tanzil wa Asrar al-Ta'wil. She sat in the washroom to wash from menstruation, veiled with something that covers her, and she was turning from the mosque into a house of her aunt while menstruating, and returned to it when purified. And while she was in her bath, Jibril, peace be upon him, represented in front of her in the shape of a young handsome man, so that she may find enjoyment in his words, and perhaps to arouse her lust through him. So her semen descends to her womb. As we read in the last two verses, we see that Allah is making this sexual process with Mary to get his son Issa, whether your spirit is an angel or is a well-shaped man. Before I come to the attributes which Issa inherited from his father Allah, I will mention first some attributes of Allah. I took for each attribute 2 verses. Here are some of Allah's attributes in the Quran. The first attribute is creation. We read in Surah Al-Hashr, the verse number 24, the following: He is Allah, the creator, the inventor, the fashioner. To him belong the best names. Whatever is in the heavens and earth is exalting him, and he is the exalted in might, the wise. We read also about the attribute creator in Surah Al-An'am, the verse number 102, the following: That's Allah, your Lord. There is no deity except him, the creator of all things. So worship him, and he is disposer of all things. We come now to the second attribute, which is that Allah gives life and causes death. We read in Surah Yunus, the verse number 56, the following: He gives life and causes death, and to him you shall be brought back. Surah Kaf, the verse number 43. It is certainly we who give life and cause death, and to us is the final return. We reach now the third attribute, which is that Allah is the only one who knows the unseen. We read now in Surah Al-Naml, the verse number 65, the following: Say, no one in the heavens and the earth has knowledge of the unknown except Allah, nor can they know when they will be raised again. We read about the same attribute, which is that Allah is the only one who knows the unseen, in Surah Al-An'am, the verse number 73. And it is He who created the heavens and earth in truth, and the day He says, Be, and it is. His word is the truth, and His is the dominion on the day the horn is blown. He is knower of the unseen and the witnessed, and He is the wise, the acquainted. We come now to the attributes of Isa, which he inherited from his father Allah. We read in Surah Al-Imran, the verse number 49, the following: And make him a messenger to the children of Israel to proclaim, I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. I will make for you a bird from clay, breathe into it, and it will become a real bird by Allah's will. I will heal the blind and the leper, and raise the dead to life by Allah's will. And I will prophesy what you eat and store in your houses. Surely in this is a sign for you if you truly believe. As you see from the previous verse that Isa has inherited attributes from his father Allah, which are creation, giving life, knowing the unseen. But what I also found that Isa has over-performed his father Allah by healing the blind and the leper. Now the Muslims will come and say, Isa is saying in Surah Al-Imran, the verse number 49, by Allah's will. I will bring to you 4 verses from the Quran. Allah is the speaker and saying by Allah's permission. There are many of them, but they are enough for me, these 4 verses. The first verse is the verse number 64 from Surah Al-Nisa. And we did not send any messenger except to be obeyed by permission of Allah. The second verse is the verse number 166 from Surah Al-Imran. What struck you on the day the 2 enemies met was by permission of Allah, that He might make evident the believers. The third verse is the verse number 145 from Surah Al-Imran. And it's not possible for one to die except by permission of Allah. The fourth verse is the verse number 38 from Surah Al-Ra'd. It was not for any messenger to bring a sign without Allah's permission. Every destined matter has a set time. At the end of this video, I'd like to thank you for watching my videos and for your encouragement with your comments. God bless you.